What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update. We're going to go into the last 24 hours of Tottenham news. If you are new around here, do smash that subscribe button. If you're not new around here, because 60% of you are subscribed, a whopping 40% of you are not subscribed.
Nearly half of you. Come on, you're watching the video. Nearly half of you are watching and not subscribing. What's going on over there? You, I know you, right there, watching this video, not subscribed.
Smash that subscribe button. Daily Tottenham content as well on social media platforms such as TikTok, Facebook, X and Instagram as well. But let's get into this and let's talk about the Don, Fabio Paratici, as we brought you the news a couple of days ago saying that Paratici and Levy locked in talks to get Paratici to return to the club. Some sources saying that he's closing in on AC Milan. But Rudy Galletti is saying that Paratici is now on track to return to Tottenham once his suspension ends. AC Milan have held talks, but convincing Paratici to change course has been very difficult, which has been much to the kind of delight to many Spurs fans across social media.
For sure. I've seen a lot of positive reaction. The news is heating up. But also, I've heard rumours, and look, these are only rumours, I don't know how true that is. Apparently, one of the first things he wants to do is obviously get rid of Ange. He doesn't want Ange to be in charge. Also, apparently, he doesn't want to work with Lange as well. So I don't know if there's going to be any problems with that in terms of what Tottenham's point of view on that is. But in terms of giving Fabio the reins to appoint a new manager, is there no worry about that, considering how his first manager appointment went?
Yeah, it wasn't great, was it?
It was one of the worst manager searches I think I've ever seen.
It's probably the worst manager search we've ever seen. I think we
nearly appointed Gattuso.
Yeah, we went a record number of days without having a manager. That is a concern. But I think that with the next manager appointment, the way he got Conte in, I think, was fairly swift, and he did pretty well with that one. So,
but was that the right pick for us?
I think it was the right pick. It was just we managed him the wrong way, essentially. So, I mean, who is the right pick for Tottenham? That's the other question.
I know, but in terms of, the ethos of the club, what we want to play attacking football. We don't want managers playing that kind of football.
It's true, but we were trying to go in a different direction at that point. We were trying to appoint win-now managers because we thought we had the players to go and do it when we clearly didn't. And look, I think there are concerns about the managerial search. We're going to do a Paratici kind of tier list of all his signings to see where he's actually at and what he has done at the club. But I've got kind of good feelings about Paratici. I think he's got really good contacts in the game, and hopefully he can bring some good signings in for us if he does return.
Yeah, and I think we'd want to bring him back for a reason. We know how valuable, his standing in the game is. But if we're giving him the reins to head a new manager search, I don't know. I just hope he doesn't do what he did last time and turns to some like obviously he went from. It seemed like a massive mishmash last time of appointments. He went from Fonseca's ultra-attacking, then he went to Gattuso. We ended up with Nuno. We had, and I think we tried to go for Nagelsmann. He couldn't convince him at that time, which I think would have been a good appointment, obviously. And obviously Nuno ended up chucking Nuno away after 10 games. We appointed Conte. He was quite good for a bit until obviously it didn't end well. But yeah, I'm a bit worried about what he wants as a manager and what he sees for this club. There's a few concerns there, but in terms of how he handles transfers, I think he could work with any manager, because I think he does very well kind of tailoring, who we can get for who the manager wants, kind of thing.
Yeah, as the best sporting director in world football, bar none, Fabio. So I think it's only a good thing bringing him back to the club in a kind of sporting director, whichever role he's going to take. So I hope this gets done, in my opinion.
What do you think happens to Lange?
Yeah, it'll be an interesting one. I would like to see maybe Lange stay at the club, but in like kind of youth recruitment role, because I think he's done well in kind of that aspect. But it just remains to be seen whether these two can work together.
I don't see Lange agreeing to that.
Yeah, maybe.
Because why would he agree to a reduced role? He'll probably leave and just go, because he wants to be sporting director. He's here to be the main guy. Yeah. Or head of it. So I don't see him agreeing to you can just be head of youth recruitment.
Yeah, that's fair enough, and that's fair enough on his part as well if he does say that. But if you've given me the choice between Lange or Paratici, I'm taking Paratici.
Fair enough, yeah. I think I'll probably agree.
Let's move on and let's talk about some players. Back talking about Angel Gomez, as Ben Jacobs says that there is a strong likelihood that either Tottenham or Manchester United will win the race for Angel Gomez's signature. Pete O'Rourke saying that Tottenham are leading the race to sign Angel Gomez ahead of the summer transfer window. Interesting with Man United. I mean, they let him go and now they're back in for him.
Yeah, he's on a free.
Yeah.
I don't know how much money they're going to have to spend in the summer. So I think that probably makes a bit of sense there. Maybe coming through the United Academy. Also, they've re-signed players before. Pogba they re-signed. Johnny Evans they've re-signed. So I can see that happening. Maybe he's got some friends there still at Man United. But I think I understand Tottenham's interest as well. We want a centre midfielder. He's on a free. He's English. A good little player. I like him. I mean, on a free transfer, I can understand why we'd want him. Yeah, I wouldn't mind signing him.
In terms of taking Spurs to that next level with the midfield options, would you be happy if our only two midfield additions are Angel Gomez and Johnny Cardozo?
Probably not.
No, you wouldn't.
Probably not. I think we could probably do a bit better.
I mean, you are talking about speaking Levy's language. These two players for 25 million combined.
Well, we know he doesn't want. He wants to spend as little as possible. So I think he'd rather risk it with Angel Gomez and go spend 50 million or whatever it costs on a definite upgrade.
Yeah. And if it is those two players, do you think do two players need to leave, or is there only one player that needs to leave?
Probably two. I don't know how many midfielders can you have.
Yeah.
We've all, if we have them, we'll have 7.
Yeah.
I guess that's if we're playing a 4-3-3. I guess it all depends what formation we're going to play and all these different
You'd
things.
imagine it would be a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, one of these kind of formations.
5 players competing for 2 positions. If it's a 4-2-3-1,
Yeah.
it's quite
Which
a lot.
you've got to think. What Sarr,
Especially if we're not in Europe.
Sarr, Bergvall, Gray, Cardozo, Gomez, Decky, Maddison. And without Europe, I mean, at least one of those
Bentancur
or
as
two
well.
of those, Bentancur as well. So at least one of those will be disgruntled.
Mm-hmm.
So where does that leave Archie Gray? Because he's like struggled for minutes in the midfield, filled in at centre back, right back. Does he get like the development time in the middle of the park?
If we're not in Europe, I think it's going to be a struggle.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see which way we go. Does it mean we have heard the kind of Atletico links to Bentancur? Will we let Bentancur go if we bring in these two?
Someone's going to have to give, maybe. But I don't know what's going on with this contract. If he's signing it or not, I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah. Next up, we're going to talk about Leon Bailey. The Bleacher Report saying that Spurs could be in the mix to sign Leon Bailey this summer. Tottenham did phone Aston Villa asking for the availability over the winter, as did Manchester United, with both being keen on a summer move as well. I mean, this doesn't kind of excite me too much. I like Leon Bailey, but he's just way too inconsistent for me.
He's just
when we're looking to take on the attack to the next level, it's just like this ain't the guy.
No, he's just an average PL winger. He's one of those where, let's say in January we got him on a 6-month loan, I'll be like, all right, that's quite good because we're desperate, we needed someone to come in. But to sign him on a long-term deal and say like he's going to be part of our squad going forward, within a year we'd want to sell him. He's that kind of player. Like if he was that good, he would be starting every week for Villa. Like he's not, and he's had a pretty poor season this season. Yeah, for me. I think he's a decent player, but I don't think it's one we should be pursuing for the long-term future of the club.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. But let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Would you like to see Leon Bailey at the club? It's an interesting one as well, Leon Bailey, because if he was off the back of Leverkusen, we'll probably be all saying like, yeah, bring him in.
Probably, but he's kind of had 1 year on, 1 year off at Villa. Last season he was brilliant. This season, not so much, and he just can't seem to keep that consistency. The guy's got lots of talent, but he just seems to go in and out of seasons, really.
Yeah. Bleacher Report also reporting that Tottenham are targeting Copenhagen winger Rooney Bargi. The highly rated right winger is deemed to have a high ceiling, and Spurs are looking to capitalise on that. It's also reported that the Danish club have set a price tag of £8 million for the Swedish winger. He is out of contract in December. In December, so his contract is running down. He hasn't played football for a very long time because of that ACL injury. He's only just recovered from it now, so he hasn't played across the whole season for Copenhagen. But before he did get that injury, he was well sought after, and big clubs were circling around for him. But to sign someone like that on the back of an ACL injury with no minutes, I mean, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think the smart thing, if you really think he's a talent, would be for that price would be to sign him and loan him out, and then really help him develop.
Yeah.
He's still very young,
19,
and he was brilliant in the Champions League. I remember last season. I remember he was absolutely roasting Man United in a couple of their games. He looked like a proper talent, and at that point, his price was probably a lot, 30, 40 million.
Or even sign him and loan him back,
or even sign him and loan him back. So I think that would be a smart thing to do, but. I don't know about signing him and putting him in the first team just off the back of an ACL. It's a bit too much of a risk.
Yeah, Yeah, you just never know how young players are going to recover from that, and mentally how it's affected them as well. So, look, no doubt about it, the guy's got talent, but it's just dodgy after that kind of injury. Bleacher Report also reporting that Tottenham are keen to keeping a close eye on Roundout, Kolo, Muani, and are keen to rekindle their interest. The French international has been enjoying an impressive run in Turin and has reportedly attracted interest from several top European clubs. However, any potential move for the 26-year-old won't come cheap, and he's said to have a hefty price tag of £77 million. And look, a lot of people were questioning it in the winter when we were kind of linked with him. I think people did want him. Some people were like, yeah, this guy's a bit of a flop, but he's gone to Juventus and absolutely smashed it up, hasn't he?
Yeah, especially the first few games. I haven't really been tracking him over his last few appearances. I know Motta's just been sacked and all these different things, but I know he started like a house on fire, and it looked like, wow, what a signing.
5 goals in 8 games in Serie A.
Yeah, so great record. And he's really fitted in really well. Obviously, it's going to be interesting to see how he does under the new manager, Igor Tudor. Now he's been appointed.
To be fair, though, those 5 goals did all come in his first 3 games.
That's what I'm saying. He started really well. I don't know how. I don't think he's been as good. But so I don't know if it was just a new player bounce. I don't know if you can call it that. But look, I still think he's a really good player. I think there's a reason we wanted. I was really interested in bringing him in January. I thought it would have been a really good signing. I don't know about signing him in the summer. I think it would have been kind of more of a good deal under the circumstances of limited availability in January. You're kind of desperate for a forward. Muani's kind of the best you can get. And I think under those circumstances, yes, good deal. In the summer, when we kind of have a lot more options, he wouldn't be my first choice, put it that way. But I think if we would sign him, I don't think it's a bad deal. But what you're talking about, 77 million, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, Spurs ain't sending 77 million, I'll tell you that.
No.
And I don't think many other clubs would spend that money. I mean, Juventus probably would be interested in keeping hold of him, but they're not paying 77 million for him.
They got him on a straight loan as well.
Yeah.
So he's not on any option to buy. I wouldn't be surprised, to be fair, if Juventus don't keep him in the summer, if he's available for loan again.
Yeah, that's also true. And if he is available for loan, I think Spurs would be ones that kind of would definitely be interested in that, but he'd probably prefer a loan back to Juventus than it's just to Tottenham again, because he rejected us in the winter.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
And last but not least, the Bleacher Report is saying that Sporting star Usman Diomande is likely to leave the Portuguese club, and Spurs are one of the clubs in the race for the defender's signature. It's also being reported that the North London club have been long-term admirers of the 21-year-old and have followed him since his days at Midtjylland, and it is believed that a bid of £50 million will be enough for Sporting to sanction the sale, but any deal for the Ivorian will depend on the future of Cuti Romero. This guy is a physical beast. I mean, aerial ability. He's actually really good with playing out the back as well. He's having a stellar season for Lisbon. Would you be interested in bringing him to replace Cuti?
Potentially, because he's a beast, absolute monster in the air. He's done very well for Sporting. Obviously, they've been used to playing a back 3, so you have to have a bit of an adjustment with it there. But I think the
Even
physical
are
qualities.
they still playing a back 3?
I think so. I know for the first few games they were. I don't know about because they got a new manager. I think they already sacked their manager since Amorim and appointed someone else. So I don't know since then, but I know immediately they were. I know physically, I think he's ready for the Premier League.
Yeah, they are still playing a back 3.
I think on the ball, he's quite a good driver on the ball, but I don't know about his passing range. I don't know how good of a passer he is. I think he's quite young as well. I think definitely got the ability. I think would have quite a young partnership there in Van de Ven and Diomande if they were to be a partnership. But I guess, look at Arsenal. It's fairly... I don't know actually how... Gabriel's not that young anymore, is he? No. But I know Salir got Saliba and Gabriel together, but... I'd like to be a guy a bit older, a bit more experienced, but I think in terms of potential, he's definitely got that in abundance.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a few similar traits to Cuti Romero. He's picked up 5 yellow cards and 2 red cards this season. Last year, picked up 7 yellow cards and 1 red card. So I think that tells you about his aggressive nature.
All right, well, so if we're not getting enough cards, maybe that's fine then.
Bring him in.
Bring him in.
And Romero's kind of decreased on that and kind of managed his game and become... kind of towed the line between being over-aggressive to aggressive, and maybe we'd need to teach Usman Diomande to do that as well. Have you got another one there?
Yeah, just one about Tyler Dibbling. Romano talking yesterday about Tyler Dibbling, and it was quite interesting what he said. He said, at the moment, I can confirm that for Tottenham, Tyler Dibbling is kind of their top target.
Wow.
Well, it's interesting how he phrased it, because he's saying, I can confirm that for Tottenham, he's their top target. And usually he's not that kind of assertive, yeah. So maybe he's had some information about that. But for having an 18-year-old guy from Southampton as your top target is not great news. As much as I like him, I think he's a good player, I don't know about him being our top target.
Well, it takes you back to the conversation we were having yesterday about being a development club. You know, another teenager coming in as the top target. And, you know, who was our top target last summer? I guess you would say it was Solanke. But, I mean, we were heavily pushing for people like Archie Gray as well. So I like Tyler Dibbling. I want to see him at the club, but I do kind of
think... He's your main signing in the summer. It's not great,
exactly.
is it?
It's underwhelming.
But if he's going to cost 100 million, he's going to be our main signing.
He ain't going to cost 100 million. There's no chance.
Yeah, I agree with that. But
he's going to go for like 40 to 50 million, in my opinion.
I'm surprised they didn't try and get a deal done in Jan in terms of signing, loaning back, just to avoid this kind of merry-go-round in the summer. But yeah, I was quite worrying how he phrased that, top target. Hope that's not true.
Well, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. But that is your Tottenham update for today. Make sure to smash that subscribe button. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.